Hey guys, welcome to Let's Make a Junk Journal. So I'm gonna give this a couple of minutes and see if we can get some people to show up and try to rearrange this camera and see if I can get a better view, but so how is everybody? I only got 2 dogs in here today with me. That's okay. I'm going to try to pull this up on my laptop so that I can see if there's any comments coming through.
That's okay. Just wait. Just kind of like get your stuff ready and that kind of thing. So they come in. That one is me right now.
Oh, there's one more in here right now. Oh, me.
You.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Maybe nobody's going to show up.
Oh, never mind. Start getting ready.
Oh, you left.
No, I didn't. Well, I'm still here. I gotta give you a thumbs up. Okay.
Okay.
Ouch.
Hi, Paula. Well, so right now I'm just cutting out some tags and stuff for our journal while I try to wait for some people to show up. Oh, there's 3. There's somebody in here. Oh, you?
Yeah, I'm on my other channel. I'm just trying to give you a thumbs up.
Well, I think I'll give it like 5 minutes, and if nobody... Oh, it's already been 4 minutes.
That's
So,
okay, just keep going. Just explain what you're doing, no problem, trust me. It says 4 now.
oh, somebody else is in here.
Yep. Cool.
I don't know who. But I'll trim out this tag and then I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, so first thing that we're gonna do is decide whether we want to do an altered book or an altered like cereal box. So this one I got from Dollar Tree for $1, but it's a smaller one. It's actually 5.5 by, I think it was 7 1/4, 7 3/8. So I think I'm gonna do an altered book because it's gonna be faster.
Nolja Star's here.
Hi, Nolja Star. So this might be.
Toys and collectibles.
Hi, guys. So we might do this one on a different video, where I'll upload a different video on how to alter like the cardboard. But I got these 2 books from the library. They were like 10 cents a piece. So I took their dust jackets off, and this is the actual cover of the one. So if I'm not going to use this one, but if I did, I wouldn't do anything to the cover because the cover is actually pretty amazing by itself. This is the one that we're going to use. And I already took it off. It's still got some sticky from the library tape on it, but it's going to be okay. This is what spine looks like. So pretty much what you're going to do is they call it break the spine. You're going to kind of like bend your pages back, and then you're going to take a sharp, okay, what's this called?
Knife.
Yeah, utility knife. There we go. So when you go to cut this out, you can see how there's a space in between here, and there's a little itty bitty space here. So what you want to do is take your knife, and you're actually going to cut in this little space between your binding and the actual cover. Now you want to go as slow as possible. Take your time, because you want to make sure that you don't cut your spine on the actual book, because that's what we're actually going to attach your signatures to. So I have actually a bigger space on the other side, so I'm going to start on that side first. And they're kind of thick pages, so you literally just want to kind of take your time. Just put the edge in there. You don't want to push too hard in there.
Michigan Mike's here.
Hi, Michigan Mike. Now, I can't see any of the comments, so Paula's going to help me out. So we got one side done, and then you're just going to flip it over. Then we're going to do the other side. Okay, so here's your book. I actually save the pages and I tea dye them and use them in junk journals. And then this is what your cover looks like. So what you're going to do now is you need to clean up your edges and make it just so that like this part right here that's sticking up, we need to try to trim this back. Again, you want to go slow and make sure that you're careful, because we don't want to damage the actual spine of the book. Louie?
Racing 7 Munchkins.
Oh gosh, Lou.
Christo Fix.
Christo Fix. Hi, Christo Fix. Louis must not have nothing else to do. So, all right. So here's our cover. Now I suggest doing, not decorating, but making your cover first, just so you know how thick your book is going to be. Because once we start doing signatures, you're not going to want to have more signatures than you have room for. Because the first, I will show them. A signature is, actually I think I could show you on here. So, I don't know if it's gonna focus.
It is.
Okay, so do you see on here how they have, like, I don't know, maybe 20 pages and then there's like a little break and then 20 pages and another little break? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what a signature is. It's so many pages put together, and then this one is obviously glued in, but ours is going to be sewn in. So we're going to start our signatures. I'm going to do 3 signatures. They're just not going to be very thick. Now, it's a junk journal because you're supposed to use newspapers, envelopes, scrap paper, bills, whatever you guys have. Now, if you're going to sell them, I wouldn't suggest using the bills, or if you're going to share it with somebody, I wouldn't suggest using the bills because they'll have your personal information on it. So, for filming purposes, I am going to use stuff that I have printed off of my computer. I tend to go to Etsy and get digital papers because I can use them over and over again rather than going to like Michael's and trying to buy the paper pads, because then I run out. So this is what I come up with. This is going to be way more than what we're going to need, because a junk journal is essentially a journal where you put in pictures and, you know, movie stubs, and then you can journal about it. It's pretty much a journal that's going to store everything that you want to put in there. So we're going to have pockets and tuck spots and belly bands, and I will show you all of that. But you want to make sure that your signatures, when you put them in there, that it's not completely full, because this is going to get filled up. You're going to add stuff to it, and you know, say you journal on something else and you just want to put it in there so you got it all together. So you want to make sure that it's not overly full, otherwise your book, instead of, you know, being normal size, is going to be like this. So make sure that you guys are thinking about that. Like this one, we could really like put in probably like 3 or 4 really good size signatures, but since it's smaller, you guys always want to make sure you consider that. So all you do is start going through your junk pile. So I have an old envelope. I've got some ads that I got in the mail. And then our like weekly newspaper that we get. I think I'm going to use this. And I always try to get like a 5 or no bigger than a 5.5 wide, and then like 8.5 to 8 3/4 tall. No bigger than that, just for me. Just because I can take a regular piece of paper and fold it in half, and then I don't have to worry about whether it's going to be too small for the book. Because if your book is smaller than the 5.5 by 8.5 or 8 3/4 or whatever, you can always cut it down. So remember, you can always cut it down, but you can't really make it any bigger. So I'm just going to tear this. that. Then, so here's a good example. This is pretty much exactly the size of my journal. So I can take these and fold them in half, or I can use this and fold it and we can make a tuck spot and all sorts of stuff. So this is going to be, I think this will be page number 1. And then I've got, I got this envelope from Discover. And it doesn't matter that it's cut up, like, because this is how I tear open my mail. We can cut this off, fold it in half, and then open up this side, and we'll have 2 pockets in our signature. So that's what we're going to do. I have sorry guys, I have 4 dogs, and they apparently all want a junk journal too. Hey. I have a mini trimmer. I think I got this at Tuesday Morning for like $3 or something. But you can find them at Hobby Lobby for a couple bucks too. Emmy. And then I'm gonna cut off the I'm gonna cut off the closed end so I'll have another tuck spot. Hey. How about we just calm down a little? That's great, thanks. And then I'm gonna fold it in half. Shh.
I'm coming.
And
Answer
then,
some questions.
yeah, if you have any questions, just type them in the description box. But what is a junk journal? Okay, so a junk journal is, you pretty much take all of your, it's called junk mail. Take your junk mail, you take your envelopes, you take everything that you would burn, and we're going to put it into a journal. And that's what you're going to use as, you know, essentially a journal instead of going out and buying one that's got new paper. Oh, I have index cards too. We might make tags out of that. I have tea-dyed paper, coffee-dyed paper. I'm not really for sure which one that is, but we'll put that in there. I have tea-dyed. It's an old book page, so it was already kind of yellow, but then I tea-dyed it, and I got... So... this one. This is what I call unicorn paper. I make like an acrylic spray and put it into a spray bottle, and then I spray it on just regular white copy paper.
Family Garden's in here. Down the rabbit hole. Are you gonna say hi to people or no?
Hi, Pumpkin Patch. Hi, Tweety. Hi, Family Garden. Oh, this is like one of my favorite pages. This is what happens when you coffee dye. And then you like put all your papers on top of each other. It takes them a long time to dry, but they're beautiful. What else do I got in here? Oh! We must have went to Chili's at one point because this is their like silverware bag now. So we're going to use that too. I'm just going to cut off the other end. Oh, that didn't work very well. Oh, and then I got these cards. I like Old Lady Ugly Floral, apparently, is what Paula calls it. So, I'm going to put one of these in there, and I have a matching envelope. We'll put that in there. I got regular white lined paper. I'm going to fold this long ways. And then, what else I got?
Start making.
Huh?
Start making.
I have to fold everything up.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know what you're doing.
So we're still folding papers just to make us a signature. This is Tomoe River paper. If you guys have never felt it, it is very smooth and soft, and I absolutely love this paper. It is like my favorite ever.
Crankbait's here.
Who?
Crankbait.
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 Good afternoon. Well, evening. It's morning for me, crankbait, but good evening. I have
Nona.
Nona.
She's like, oh my goodness, I didn't miss out.
Now remember, when you guys fold this and stuff, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna line up. It's not gonna be a produced book. So this is not gonna be anywhere near perfect. But it's gonna do what you gotta do. It's gonna do what you need it to do. So I think that's pretty good. Oh.
Beard's in the house. He wants to know what you're doing.
I am making a junk journal, Beard. So this is one of those digital kits that I got off of, I think this one came off of acdigitals.com, but it's a Maggie Holmes. So I'm going to use this as my outside signature so that it's like a harder cardstock, so it will protect the other stuff that's going to be in there. So now I have like a bone folder, or it's like a Teflon. They call it a Teflon bone folder. You don't have to use it. I just do it because it helps like really crease down my edges on like my thicker stuff, and it'll make my my signatures thinner. But you can actually use like your scissors handle, your scissors, or your ruler, a back of a butter knife. Now we're going to put our signature together. So this one is going to be my outside one for sure. Then I think I'm going to go with the newspaper, which we don't need that big of a piece. So I'm going to put down my ruler, put this in the middle of my cardstock piece, and find the end, which is over here. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Tiffany's in the house. She says she thinks she's late.
You're not that late. So, then you just rip it off. Now, I cut it, or ripped it, and it's a little bit too short, but it's mine, so it doesn't really matter. Then you guys put this in any order that you guys want. So, I have this newspaper. This is just regular white copy paper. And then I have, looks like graph paper and a piece of ledger paper. I'm going to put that in there. Then let's go with the sparkly pink envelope. And I'm going to put this one towards the top. And then let's do a coffee dyed. See how thick we are. Now you have to remember, even though it doesn't look thick right now, you got to remember you're going to fold it and it's going to double. And since they're, you know, essentially junk mail, it's not going to lay completely flat like most things would. And then I'm going to do my unicorn paper. What else do I got in here? Oh, my Tomoe River paper. We're going to put a sheet of that in there. And so this is my long, like I folded it length instead of width. I'm going to put this in here, but I'm going to put the top so that that's flush, and then once I get this all together, we're going to take this and make this into a tuck spot. And then I'm going to put my little card. And I think I'm going to finish it off with a piece of coffee dye. So this is essentially my signature. Now I'm going to try to, you know, kind of even out the top part and get everything into my signature. Well, I messed that one up, so hold on.
Spammy's here.
Spammy! What is he doing?
Chewing on a bone.
No, he's chewing on carpet. I can hear him.
He's got a little bone, Mama.
Oh, somebody.
He's right behind me. Don't worry about it.
Oh, somebody's out there messing with carpet.
Syntax is here.
So, hi Syntax. So once you get
Life at Home's in the house.
a life at home, hello.
Mallard 5 Farmhouse.
Hello farmhouse. So once you get all of your stuff kind of lined up, you want to make sure that, you know, how I told you I wanted my envelope towards the top. You want to go back through and make sure that your stuff is still where in the signature that you want it. Okay. Then you're going to take, you can take binder clips, you can use paper clips. Right now, all I have are these, I don't even know what they're called. I know the big ones are called like bulldog clips, but I don't know what the small ones are called. And I'm going to put one at the top on each side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Then you are going to take some sort of pokey tool. Now you can actually use the needle that you guys are going to use to bind it together. I have a pokey tool. I don't know what the technical term is, but that's what I call it. You're going to make 3 holes. It doesn't matter where you make them as long as they are all the same. Or, not the same. Sorry guys, I just like literally woke up before I started this live stream and I'm still not fully awake, I don't think. Yeah, they're binder clips. These are like, I ordered these off of AliExpress for like, I don't know, 5 cents a piece or something, and I ordered like 6 of them. So
Mama's Bomb is here.
Mama's Bomb, welcome. Oh, that's not on there. So you always want to start, I do one in the middle, and I literally just eyeball this. I don't get out my ruler. I eyeball it, and then you're gonna go from the inside, push it all the way through the outside, and then you're gonna do one from the bottom, and then one from the top about the same distance apart. Now when it comes to eyeballing, centering, making sure stuff is level, that's not me. So junk journals are awesome for me. So I got my holes. And then what I take, I use embroidery thread to sew mine in. But first we're going to have to mark where we want our signatures at in our book. So here's your spine. Now this is where you're going to actually have to get out a ruler and try to be as precise as you can, because once we sew it in, you're going to be able to see it on the outside. Now, before you start sewing in your signatures, if you do not like your spine, this is where you would decorate your spine. So you can use paper, you can use fabric, you can use paper scraps, you can at one point I actually tore up my tea-dyed book pages and Mod Podged the whole book cover to make it look like it was like an old textbook. It actually turned out pretty cool. That's Paula's favorite book that I ever made, but so I'm gonna leave mine just like this because, I mean, why not? Then you're gonna go to the inside and you're gonna actually measure your spine on the inside of your grooves, because you don't want to count this part right here where it's going to bend. So you're only going to count from here to here. And you're going to have to divvy it up between how many signatures you have. So mine is only going to have 3, but now if yours has 4 or 5, if it's bigger, you're going to make sure that you have enough to divvy it between the 4 and the 5. So let's see. Mine measures it's about 7/8, but I think I'm going to go with 3/4 just to be safe. So 3/4. Now, where's a pencil?
Patricia Sprinkles is in the house.
Hi, Patricia.
Backyard gardening's in the house.
Hi, backyard. So I have 3/4. So I'm going to have a mark. Let's see. The center is going to be about 3/8.
Nona Grace said 1/4.
Yeah, well, because you have to have equal. So my space is actually 3/4, but you have to make sure that you got enough space on both sides. So technically, if you have 3 signatures, you're gonna account for like 5 at the beginning and at the end, because you don't want them all the way at the end of the. So if this is, hold on, I'm gonna move my camera up a little bit, but so if from here to here is 3/4, you don't want a signature at 1/4, at 1/2, and then at 3/4. So you actually have to take your 3 signatures and you have to center them within those 3/4. So I'm not precise, which if you haven't figured out, that's kind of how it goes. So I'm thinking like 3/8 and then somewhere in here and then somewhere in here. You can eyeball it. I'm not a precise type of person when it comes to this. So this is what it's going to look like. So then what I do is I take a ruler and I pretty much also need to take my signature. And you're going to lay your signature up against your spine. I wish I had an overhead camera. So you're going to lay your signature up next to your spine, because we need to see where we poke the holes so that I can make the right like line of.
You want me to hold that for you?
No. So that I can make the right line of dots so I know where to poke my holes through my actual spine. So I want it about there. And then about there. And about there. So I have, these are where my holes are in my first signature. So I'm pretty much just going to take my ruler. Now I have a Tim Holtz ruler, so it's got like the grid pattern on it. Other people make it, but this was only like $5 on Amazon, and it's actually pretty cool because not only will it measure like up to 12 inches, but it also has a 0 point, so you can actually find the center. Sorry about the glare, but it has a 0, so if you go to measure something and you want to find the center, you use your 0 mark and it will help you out. But I just take my ruler and I line up my little grid pattern on the other side of the spine, and then where I made those dots up at the top, I'm going to go to where my line is and make another dot. And then go down here to where my line is, make another dot, and then make another dot. So while I'm doing it, I might as well do it for all 3 of them. Dot, dot. Okay, so these dots are my actual holes, and then the dots that you see up here are the ones where I was trying to figure out where my holes were going to go. So now that I got that figured out, I need to make 2 more signatures, and then we'll go ahead and start attaching them. So how's everybody doing? You guys have any questions so far?
Nona says 150 thousandths would be 5/32. That's funny.
I like junk journals because I don't have to be precise. I don't have to worry about whether or not everything is perfect. Now, when you buy something from, someplace, you usually, oh, well, that's got a dent in it. This is a junk journal. There's going to be dents and crinkled papers, and I like that. So again, I'm just going to start putting stuff together, folding some papers. Oh, I didn't know that. This, so my graph paper is actually lined on the other side. Huh, I had no idea. You learn something new every day.
So Tiffany says, she says, I'm definitely going to have to rewatch. And she says, and that pokey thing comes in handy. Do you remember where you got it?
I got that from, I want to say I got it from Tuesday Morning for like a couple of dollars. But I do know that Tim Holtz has one. and you can get it on Amazon. I want to say it's like $6, but I do know that Hobby Lobby carries it, and if you use your 40% off coupon, you can get it cheaper.
Tammy's in the house.
Hi, Tammy. I think I'm going to use one of these cards in every one because I really love these cards.
Nona Gray says, I have an old dentist tool that I got from the dentist. I use it to poke holes.
Right. That would actually be a really good one.
Yep. Tiffany says, cool. Oh, Off-Grid Bound in the house.
Hi, Off-Grid. Oh. He drank like half that bowl.
I know. Get my socks wet because you keep sitting on it. Maybe I should scoot over. Right into the bowl.
I think we need some tea dye in here. I probably should have put a couple of these together.
Nona says, I like this project.
Do you? I'm glad. I was kind of nervous. Oh, this is another one of those papers that I printed off from a digital collection. So this is going to be my outer page. And then I think I'm going to use this envelope.
Tiffany says, I do too. I've been looking forward to it all week.
I've been nervous about it all week.
I think you're doing really good.
Thanks.
Off-Grid Bound says, sounds cool. I told him we're making a journal with junk mail.
Yep. Although I'm not using junk mail because you guys don't need to see my info. But it's a cool thing to do, like, at home. Oh, and then, so if you cut the ends off, it ends up, you know, like this. So if you fold it, you can put it in there that way. Or we can put it in there like this. And then we can glue this down and we can have a small tuck spot. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. So that will be number 2.
Off-Grid Bound says, I love that little slicer.
I got it for like, literally, I think it was like a couple of bucks at Tuesday morning. But they have them at like Hobby Lobby. I think they're like $3 or something. Maybe they're like $6. But when they do like their 50% off all of their Paper Studio stuff, Paper Studio is Hobby Lobby's brand name. So you can actually get it for like $3.
So Nona says she has an old set of encyclopedias that she can't give away. No one wants because of the internet now.
Oh my god.
Perfect for the book part.
You know, I have literally been looking for like old encyclopedias, and Paula has an old dictionary, but I'm not allowed to look at it. Because I look at it and I want to start ripping pages out, but she gives me that evil eye, and I'm like, okay, I'm walking away. I'm done.
Tammy's Homestead says she's buffering terrible. She may need to replay it later.
Yeah, it's not buffering on our end, so... Thanks, B&O Outdoors.
Yeah, it says this is awesome. She says, I'm not going anywhere, but keep getting stuck. Keep getting... Wait, let me see it. Keeps getting stuck in buffer clouds.
I hate the buffer cloud. I don't even know why they exist.
So off your balance, and his wife's name is Ruth.
Okay.
Ruth has a huge one, but it's really bulky and not fun to use. But he says that slicer looks much nicer. We're going to have to look for one, he says.
I actually have a different one that I always use, which I'll show you.
Ashley Gross in the house.
So this one is the Fisker's Precision Heavy Duty Paper Trimmer. And this one, you don't have to ever replace the blade because it's self-sharpening whenever you use it to cut. And it actually cuts like the chipboard that I'm going to do a video on how to do like this as your cover instead of an altered book. But this, it'll actually slice through that like butter. It slices through all my papers. Ugh, I love this trimmer. And I got it on Amazon, and I'd waited and waited because I seen it in Michael's and Hobby Lobby, but they were $130, and I couldn't bring myself to buy it.
Yep, he said, yep, that's just like Ruth.
Oh my god, but it's so worth it. Like, I did. I spent $65, and I was kicking myself until I actually got it, and I used it, and then I, like, fell in love, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'll never go back.
Ashley is here.
Hi, sister!
And Nona says she has used pages from some of the encyclopedias to make wreaths.
Oh, that's cool.
Stingray Steve says, I want to make a paper mache stingray.
I've never actually done paper mache.
I have a long time ago.
Like, I don't think I ever have.
Oh, Off-Grid Bound said he got hers at $20 from Goodwill.
Well, you know what? I wish I would have got mine for $20.
That
But
was a steal.
even for my $60, I'm so happy. I miss you too, sister. And then I'm gonna throw in my little Chili's bag. I'm gonna put in there too. We'll put you right in the middle, and then unicorn paper. Let's do some unicorn paper. This is like my favorite because it's so sparkly. Also, though, remember when you guys are putting your stuff together, you guys can use whatever you want, but when you have to take into consideration what you guys are gonna write with. So, you know, if you're going to use a Sharpie, pretty much everything's fair game. But if you're going to use like a gel pen, a lot of gel pens won't write on like shiny material. Not newspaper, but like magazine papers and stuff, it's hard for gel pens to write on. Now like the regular ballpoint pens is what they're called? Yeah, ballpoint pens, I mean, those are they'll work on almost anything, so just remember.
Priceless beauties in the house.
Good afternoon, evening. I'm going to do 2 pages of this because I love this stuff.
Tony says, you shouldn't be nervous, we're all friends.
I know. You have old encyclopedias, Ashley Gross?
What?
I know. I'm coming over tomorrow. While I'm over, you can make me dinner. Okay, that's pretty thick, so I'm gonna take this.
She says, Ashley says she'll go to Goodwill next weekend.
Oh. I can go to Goodwill next weekend, maybe.
Hey, or little big family's here.
Hi. Okay. So now I got all 3 signatures, so now it's time for us to put this all together. Let's see. So I have embroidery thread. This is my favorite stuff to use just because I can make it thicker or thinner. If you use sewing thread, which you can, you're going to have to double up on it because when you go to tighten it, some of them will break. So I just chop off I may need a bigger crafting desk.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, chop off, because you don't need like a ton, but then I'm going to separate this into two, if I can get it to work. Now, when I said I split it into two, I actually used only 2 of the strands out of the 6.
Did you eat it? No. Mama.
And then
Nona says that her library has book sales for just pennies.
I know the books that I had, you weren't here at the beginning, but the book that I have right now that I like altered right now is one from the library where my sister's at, and I think we got it for like 10 cents. I want encyclopedias or an old dictionary.
Ashley says, I have hardback books, or did you want to use the pages of the encyclopedia?
I just want to use the pages. So, I threaded the 2 strands through a needle. Oh. Now, this needle is actually a pretty big gauge just because I need it to actually go through it, and a lot of times if you use like I had Dollar Tree ones, but they will bend. So I ended up splurging. I got me a big one. It's got a big eye. It's works great. Now you don't want to knot it at the end. Gonna take your book. I'm gonna take your signature. And then you got to find out what order you want them in. So is this going to be 1 or is this going to be number 3? And then you want to make sure that it's the right way. So I'm going to do this one as number 3. So I start in the middle. And I push my needle through. Then I forgot to poke holes in this. Let's do that first, shall we? So you need to poke holes in every one of your holes that you have here.
Little Big Family says this is amazing.
Once you guys learn how to do this, it goes a lot faster, and then you won't be able to stop. Gosh, big butt.
Sorry, Mama.
Okay, so I have my holes. Now we're back to this. So I start on the inside, push my needle through, almost all the way through to the outside. I take my book cover. Now, we could have done it the other way. So if you do not like the way that, see how it's got like the little pieces that stick up because we went from the the inside to the outside when we push through. You guys can always do it the other way, which is what I should have done. But hey, you live and you learn. So, back to this. So, middle of your signature into the middle hole on, mine is on the first signature line, and then you're going to pull it through. You're not going to pull it all the way through because you want to make sure that you leave a tail, because that's how we're going to attach it. Then you're going to go to the bottom hole. You're going to go back in, and then you are going to go into your signature. Now this is where it starts to get a little sketchy.
So, Little Big Family says, I've seen these on Pinterest but never watched one getting made before.
Oh, really? once you start doing them, they go a lot faster. But it's a good way to use your junk mail, especially if you like to journal and you go through a lot of journals. This is awesome. Okay, so you're going to want to pull it tight, but make sure that you're holding your tail. Then you're going to go from the bottom hole up to the top hole and out and in to the top hole of your book. Pull it out. And remember, you want to make sure you got your tail. Then you're going to go from the top hole back to the middle hole and into your signature again. Okay.
So off-grid bound says, looks kind of complicated.
It's only complicated because I'm trying to make sure that I can show you guys.
I told him it's like sewing.
It's easier than sewing because I don't know how to sew. Trust me, off-grid, if I could do it, you could do it. Okay, so I finally got it through. But what you want to do is when you come back through, you have your tail. You want it on one side of your long thread. You want your needle to come up on the other side. So when we go to tie our knot actually attaches to that middle strand. So we pull it up, pull the needle off. Then you want to, I pull it this way just a little bit, and then I pull it this way a little bit, because you want to make sure that it's pretty tight. Excuse me. And then all you're going to do is tie a knot. I do 3 of them just because I'm nervous. I don't want it to come apart. But I've never had one come apart. And I actually sold these for a little while, so. Oh, I forgot to shut my phone off. Sorry, guys. And then, now this is up to personal preference, whether you want to keep these long like this. Some people do. I usually just trim a little bit off and then lay it out. And then I just throw these away. Now, yes, I can sew. I'm sure I can hack it. I think you're good. Now, my sister, Ashley, she brings up a good point. Now, you can actually sew these in with a sewing machine. I have a sewing machine, but it's very old, and I don't think it works right, and I was supposed to take it to Rebecca's house, but I was bad, and I didn't. She was going to look at it for me.
Ashley says if it's not tight, it'll be really wobbly.
Yes. So, yeah, when you go to open up your stuff, this right here will, like, really move around. So that's why you want to make sure that you're pretty tight. And that's it. That's our first signature sewn in. Then you can take off your binder clips, your paper clips, your bulldog clips, whatever kind of clips you got on there. And look at your handiwork. Now you might have to go back through and like kind of help fold it along, you know, because it's not going to fold very well. But I don't have my, like, I'm not using a sewing machine, but Emmy has something to say, guys. But if you guys wanted to put like pockets and stuff on there and you wanted to sew them onto your pages, you don't have to do it before you put in your signatures, like put your pages together, but I would, because it would be a lot easier than trying to hold this on here and trying to send this through your sewing machine.
So Tiffany says, what's the type of glue you use again that doesn't wrinkle the pages?
It's called Fabri-Tac. There's another one though. I forget what it's called. but it's essentially the same thing made by the same company. It just has a different name. Now I tend to, even though I just bought a bottle, like I literally got a brand new bottle because I only have about this much. When you go to Walmart, they do carry it at Walmart. This is about, I want to say $10 or $11 where I live. So this is $10 or $11 at Walmart. If you go to Hobby Lobby or to Michael's is where I bought mine, it was $15. It was $14.99. I used a 50% off coupon though. You want to make sure that you check your lid and open up your glue. Because I found at Walmart it does not come, like it doesn't fly off the shelves like it does at Michael's. So you want to make sure, let me get my new bottle. This is my new bottle. There's no like seepage around here, and they always have a seal. But the thing about it is it's sealed in the cap. It's not actually sealed on the bottle. So before you buy it, you want to make sure that you kind of like move it around. It should look like normal glue. When this stuff starts to dry, it gets very, very tacky and very, very thick. So always double check your Fabri-Tac. Or at least that's what I did. Because I bought a bad bottle once and I wasted like what, $10? I think I only used a 40% off coupon, but it wouldn't even come out of the tip because it had started to dry in the bottle.
Ashley says if anyone needs help with the sewing machine pages, she can help.
Yes, Ashley has like a brother's sewing machine, and it's got I don't know, like 80 or 100 different types of like not seams, but different stitches that you can do. Her journals come out awesome. I do not have that option yet. I gotta drink something, so give me just 1 second.
Tiffany says smart, thanks for the tip.
You're welcome.
Off-grid Bound says thanks for the tip.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we got signature 1 in there. How's everybody feeling about it?
About 12 people in here, love bug.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna do the wood background next. So essentially it's the same thing. You're gonna make sure that your pages are lined up, and your ones that are like half pages or pockets or whatever, you want to make sure that they're where you want them. Clip your ends.
Off-grid Bound says looks great.
Thanks, Off-Grid.
Yeah, he's my new boyfriend.
He's about to be mine. And then what I do is I take...
Ashley wants to know if you're free tomorrow. She says, I work, but I should be home by 12. She says we can go to Goodwill.
We'll have to see. Depends if I'm gonna sleep or not. So then I'm gonna take the new signature. I'm going to line it up to where I want it in my book. And then I am going to mark where I put my holes on my on my signature.
No, Bubba. Sit down. Sit down.
So this is what I got.
Lay down. Lay down.
So here's where my holes are going to need to be. So then I'm going to open it up.
Bubba, lay down. Oh my God. Homestead Corners here.
Hi, Homestead.
Ouch. She's biting me. Here.
You want to make sure that your half pages and your pockets are at least in with one hole. So I put mine in the middle. So I know that this is going to be in one hole. Because when you loop it around, you're going to have it attached by the one all the way through it, and then by the time you get done, you're going to have one big strand, so you know that that's not going anywhere because it's folded in half.
Okay, so Ashley says, did you mention a temple so you can
Template.
have the same
Yeah.
heights?
If you want the seams to
if
show.
you want the seams to show on the binder, or just do a simple insert.
Did you mention a template so you can have the same? If you want the seams to show on the binder, or you're just doing a simple insert. I don't know what she means.
I don't either.
If she's talking to, are you talking about a template? There's a couple of people on YouTube who actually use a template. So what they do is they take like a piece of paper. Grid paper is what I'm a cool mom. She uses for hers. So she takes a piece of paper, and then on her piece of paper, she will actually have like, say this is an 8.5 tall book. She will, on here, she will like poke out her holes where they're gonna be. Now, say it was a 5 signature one, she would have her 5 holes. She would have this cut out, and this is what her her template is. So all she has to do is take this, put this up to her spine, and poke, 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 and be done. Then she has a matching one that is folded in half and will have the holes for her signatures. So it just kind of depends on how often you do this. I haven't done this in a while, so we're playing it by ear right now. But it is a very good suggestion, Ashley. I completely forgot about it. Oh, Lord. Okay, so we're going to open it up from the outside, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to take it and poke holes all the way through where you got your marks.
Irene from Permaculture is here.
Oh no.
What?
Off-Grid Brown, I got your email, Paula. Thanks. Unfortunately, we may have lost the land or will lose it soon. I have to update everyone as soon as I know more.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, so I got my holes. I'm going to go back to my thread.
So Ashley's saying only because she does hers like that mostly.
Let's see. For the threads on the spine.
Yeah. She says darn phone.
Yes.
She said no something.
Huh. I don't know what she's saying. I have to try to get this done. So
Off-Grid Bound said the van broke down in Texas.
he chewing on a bone.
Yes.
Oh, that's sad.
What?
Texas. His van broke down in Texas. Lovey.
What? Sorry. What he's doing?
Hey. Leave Mama alone.
My permaculture says, oh girls, I just noticed almost at 1K.
Oh, yeah. Paula is, yep.
Getting there. We still got a ways. Oh hey, I got hurt at work the other day. Be strong good girl here and am doing okay.
Well, that's good.
Ouch.
Okay, so we're gonna go start on the inside. Go to the outside. Gonna go through your book. Out the book. Make sure that you leave your little tail. Then we're gonna go from the outside. Well, maybe to the inside. Through our signature. Then through the top.
All Rick and Brenda say that's a nice journal.
Thank you. Through the bottom, or through the top to the outside. And then you're gonna go back through the middle.
Kids in the house.
And then you want to make sure that you're on the opposite side of the string and pull through. Okay, and then give her a nice little tug. And then oh, I think I swapped them. I did. So, now that I messed it up, you want to make sure that since I did not make sure that my top and my bottom were the same distance, you want to make sure that your top stays your top and your bottom stays your bottom. Otherwise, it's not going to line up right and you're going to have like overhang. So, I'm going to redo that. But I think my thread broke. Yep. So.
Off your bounce says he has put 2 alternators now and the battery's still not charging.
Oh no.
I just asked him maybe it was the solenoid.
Well, that didn't work.
Homestead Corner said, I missed the beginning. Is that an old book cover with
Yes.
the binding?
Yes.
You just cut it out.
Yes, I just cut out the book pages. It was a book I got from the library, like at a discard sale for, I think I paid $10 10 cents for it or something. It was really cheap.
Tammy's Homestead Life says she started one, but she hasn't had time to work on it.
Yeah, that happened to me a lot too. I'd start it and then I couldn't finish it because I never had time. Or I was just too tired. But Miss Nona Grace wanted to see one put together, so... And Tiffany, so I had to put one together for them. For my peeps. Let's see. I got my lines crossed. So... that. Put this under here. Alright. So give her a good tug. There we go. So when I had it backwards, I had an overhang of like, it was like 1/8 of an inch, and it didn't line up. That's how I knew it was in backwards. Not that I've done that before.
Ashley says it takes a little wiggling to get in the holes. Don't be discouraged.
Yes, it does. And you always want to make sure that you have enough thread, because, you know, you can always cut it off, but you cannot add more. And once you're first starting, it is hard to, like, get it into here and then into your book. So you usually have, like, a gap between your pages and your book until you start tightening it down. So, always have more thread. You can always cut it off. I was kind of hoping he'd be sleeping while we were doing this. I'm sorry, guys. He's just very boisterous. So here's our third one. Hey.
Hey.
So it's going to be the same thing. We're going to make sure it's how you want it, lined up and everything. And I want to keep, so my envelope is a little bit bigger than my pages, so I'm going to have to end up trimming this down. So I want to make sure that I keep the pink, so I'm going to put the extra on the bottom part so that when I go to cut it off, it cuts off this part instead of my pink part. So just take your time and make sure that you actually look at your pages and make sure that, you know, everything is pretty much how you want it. Otherwise, it won't. Once you start putting it together and you're like, no, I wanted to keep that. That's happened to me a lot. So. So, are you guys interested in actually seeing another video with the cardboard, like the old cereal box and stuff, rather than the altered book?
Tiffany says, I hope mine turns out as pretty as yours. It's really coming together great.
Once you start, it always looks like it's kind of like a hot mess. But once you start putting stuff together, you're like, oh, that's not bad. So I'm sure, Tiffany, yours is going to turn out fantastic.
Right.
You need to measure the length of the spine and add about 1 inch. So if you have 3 signatures, it would be 3 times the spine. Oh, yeah. She's technical when she does hers. So Ashley says that you need to measure the length of your spine and add about 1 inch. So if you have 3 signatures, it would be 3 times what the spine is and add about an extra 1.5 inches. She uses one big piece. I just use one, like, piece per signature, so she doesn't have to keep rethreading her thing. Oh, I was gonna put my rainbow paper in here too. I forgot.
Get it for you?
No, I'm already done.
You're done?
Well, like with putting them together.
Really?
Yeah. Man, those dogs. Do you guys ever wonder, like, okay, so it's Saturday and you're at home and your dogs are acting a fool. Do you wonder if they actually do this when you're not at home? Or if they just sleep and they're like perfect little angels?
So Tiffany says, I would love to see that. Every year for Earth Day, we do a recycling, fashion, and art show and do little craft before and after.
Yeah.
She wants to see that unicorn paper, Lovey.
Oh. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, she wants me to do an altered one of those.
Oh, an altered. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, sorry. Go on, big boy. Go on. Ashley says, sorry, I'll stop.
No, it's okay. I just don't think of all this stuff. Ashley, you know how long it's been since we've done this, right? So me and Ashley, we used to do junk journals like together. We used to get on Facebook Messenger and we would have a little chat for a couple hours while both of us put together junk journals. What are you doing, Slobberilla?
Tiffany says, I want to see the cover. I want to see the cover are made out of cereal box. I think my stream is like a minute behind. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Paula, she only half listened, so she just thought, because last thing she heard was unicorn paper.
Yeah.
So, I knew what you were talking about, Tiffany.
Sorry.
And I will probably do like a different video, like an actual video instead of a live stream. But I will do one for you, Tiffany. Okay. See my little pin cushion that I made?
Boy. Boy.
He's got a lot to say today.
I know. Tiffany says, okay, that will work. I'll watch that and there won't be as much pressure for you.
I'm actually okay now, like, now that I've started. And
hey, woman and woman homesteads here.
because it took like 10 minutes for people to show up and I was like, well, maybe this was a bad idea. Okay. So, there's all of our signatures all in. And, oh, let me move this up a little bit. So you can see the binding on this one. And then this, we're going to have to, we'll fix this, but not too shabby right now, right? Man, I don't know if I like this little camera, or this little holdery
Do
thing.
you need it higher?
No. Okay. Ouch. Finger got stuck. Okay. So, stop. So, I told you guys that we would make tuck spots out of the the regular line paper one that I folded lengthwise. So what you're going to do is you are going to pretty much just cut on your fold line up to the bottom part of your rest of your pages. So we are literally gonna cut up to the bottom of the page. So that's what I got. Now you're going to go to one of the pages and you're going to fold it up. Then, because we cut on a crease, it's got like a little overhang, so when you go to fold it in half, it's kind of like on the center part. We're just going to take a little sliver out. And by a little sliver, I mean literally a little sliver. So you're going to take it and you're going to take and go at an angle. And then take out literally a little sliver. So that way when you go to fold it up, it won't like prohibit it from folding properly. Then, now depending on what type of tuck spot you want. Do you want just like a top loading pocket? Or do you want like to be able to tuck it in on the side? I'm gonna glue both sides and just leave a tuck spot up on the top. And I have art glitter glue. This right here, this is a great glue. It dries fast and it has a very precision tip. So I like it when I have to do make pockets and stuff like that. But this is, you can't get it sent here because once it gets cold, like in the mail, something happens to it and it won't work right. So it's kind of like a spring, summer, and fall kind of thing. So, gonna put a little bead of glue on both sides. Fold it up. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. When you try to take it out, I usually try to take and make it into like a triangle. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then do the same thing. Gonna glue it. Hold it. Okay, so we got that. Then we have to cut off our extra piece of our long envelope. I'm just going to do it with scissors. Now, don't forget, you can also, instead of, straight edges, they got the decorative scissors you can use. I mean, you could make awesome edges on everything. Hey! Okay, cut that off. That's good. Now we're going to glue the bottom part of this and the top part of like our actual envelope that we would seal. And I'm going to use the same glue. This one I'm going to do a little bit wider instead of a little thin line. I'm going to do maybe like 1/4 of an inch just because the pocket isn't going to be very wide. So you want to, have a little bit more hold that. And then I have my other side of my envelope, and the, you know, this part right here is not like sealed all the way, so I'm going to make sure that I put some glue down over there and seal that part. Same thing with over here. And then I think that was pretty much everything that needed to be quote unquote fixed with the stuff that was in our signatures. Now this is where you guys get to just kind of have a big old heyday and kind of go to town. So this is what it looks like right now. So it's got a little bit of overhang, which I think I might just leave because I kind of like it. But this is then this is the signature, or the spine with our 3 signatures in it. Here's the back. And then so now we're going to decorate the inside with tuck spots and belly bands, and we're going to have a good old time. Now, on the inside of mine, I always like to put some sort of pocket. I actually like to use a library card, but I don't think I printed any off. So, I have something close to maybe a library card thing. This is like a coin pocket, I guess is what it's called. But this is one of those digital kits that I buy offline, and I can print as many of them as I want. So this is one is by Tsunami Rose. And if you guys want to see any of this stuff where I get it from, just comment later after the video and I will find it and I will leave a link to it either in the description box or I will reply to your comment. But I've got a lot of them, so I just want to make sure that if you guys really do like it and you want it, just let me know. I think I only paid $2.50 for the kit, and it comes with like 6 pages. You get like the envelope, and then it comes with 3 coordinating tags that you just kind of cut out. I don't know where my other one is, but I know it comes with 3 of them. So I have to trim this one out real fast.
No. Come on. Come on, no. Leave her alone. Come on. Come on.
And then I'm going to show you guys a trick because you have to fussy cut all this. So I will show you how. If you just ink it up, you actually never really notice that it's not perfect. I actually have a mini scoreboard, and I'm going to score my line so that it's easier for me to fold, and I'm going to use my little Teflon bone folder as my scoring tool. And the black marks on here, I actually put them on there because when my printer prints, sometimes it's like crooked on the page. When I cut it out, it won't like line up perfectly because I'm not a very good cutter-outer. I just use the black line and line up what I need to score on one of the black lines, and then it doesn't matter if it's cut out right or not. Oh, fussy cut. A fussy cut is when you take an image, whether it be this or like this big flower right here, and you literally take your scissors and you cut all the way around it. They call it fussy cutting because you have such small detail on what you have to cut. That's why I need a Cricut, and then I wouldn't have to fussy cut. I'm still trying, guys. I'm still trying. Okay, so I print my stuff out on the Michaels paper, and I only buy it when it's like 5 for $10. and I buy a crap ton of it. But this is what the package looks like. It's 65 pound, and you get 50 sheets. So like I said, I buy it when they are like 5 for 10. If I really, really need it, I'll do it when they're 3 for 10. But other than that, I won't buy it because it's too expensive. And I don't want to waste a 40% off coupon on it. So this is what I'm using for everything that I have printed off. Okay, so before we start gluing everything together, I'm not a good fussy cutter. So this has some white right here. This is not really like rounded properly. This one is definitely like not cut right. So what I do is I have some of the distress inks, the small ones, and I have some of the oxides. Now I only buy these when these are on sale too. So this one is my favorite brown, which you'll see a lot, which is walnut stain. And then this is the only pink one that I own. So we're just going to use it. I don't know if it's going to match, and it doesn't really matter. But I take my pad. If you have like a dauber, well, this is what they call an ink blending tool. You put it on here and you can actually blend this onto your paper. Or if you're cheap like I was for a long time, makeup sponge. Take your makeup sponge, put it on there. You're gonna bend your cardstock to where you want your where you want your ink to be, and then all you do is blend your ink on it. So we're gonna do this little corner over here, and then like in the corners where when you cut you can't really fussy cut very well, we're gonna blend that in there. This corner where we didn't cut all the white off. All right, so this is what we got now. Like this one you'll still be able to see because of the, like, it's how it's cut. But the rest of it kind of just starts to all blend in. And if you want it like the light pink, I'm a very like vibrant, like dark. When I do, like, they call this distressing. When I distress, I like my stuff dark. So I usually go over everything every time I make something. And I think it's why it takes me so long to do most of my stuff, because I like it dark. So yeah, see how bright pink it is now? Oh, I love it. So this is a coin envelope. When you go to put it together, this little flap is the last thing that you fold up. You're going to fold in the sides, and it doesn't matter which side, just depends on which one you like best. So because I have that really weird, awful cut, I'm going to put that one on the bottom. And then all you're going to do is just glue it together. Now this is very, like, it's thicker than regular glue, so you kind of have to shake it and let it come down to the bottom. You don't want to keep squeezing it because the air that gets in there will get behind it, and I'm telling you what, this thing won't stop. So I put a little bit of glue on the first flap, and then I put a little bit of glue, oh, sorry guys, a little bit of glue on that, on the other flap, and then bring them together. Now, when you use that Fabri-Tac, because it's acetone based, it's like cold. So it feels kind of funny when you do that. And then you only want to put a little bit of glue down on the bottom, because it's okay if it seals it together, but until it dries, you don't want to put in your tag and have it glued in there. So, and then you always want to make sure that after you do like something like this and you're going to wait a couple minutes, you always put your lid on. You don't have to screw it back on, but you want to make sure that you put your lid on. because that stuff dries actually pretty fast. And then you have your little cutout for like your I think it's like a thumb thing so that you can pull your stuff out. But I always leave them intact and then either cut them out all together, because then they're all going to be the same uneven cut that I make. Or I have a 1.5-inch punch. It's bigger than what this thing is, but that's what I got, and that's what we're going to use. So I did that. And then you see how it's bigger, so there's no ink there. Gonna take my little sponge. And ta-da. So, since I like this one, and this is the one we just did, I'm actually going to take it, excuse me, and I'm going to put it on the front cover. Well, on the inside of the front cover. And I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac because I like how it glues. And I think I'm going to let me go right here. All right, and then I have a couple of tags that I already cut out. I think these were with the same collection, because there I have another envelope too. So
Ashley says I'm not reading the comments.
why?
I had to go take care of the boy. Oh, you're not supposed to be reading them.
What?
I did that.
So I'm going to take these. I'm going to take these tags and I'm just going to put them in here. Now,
Boy,
if you guys want to, you guys can actually put like pattern paper and stuff on here before you guys start embellishing. Same thing with the spine. If you guys do not like the look of this, you guys can put down a piece of like pattern paper or even white paper before you guys start adding your signatures. So if you guys are going to do that, make sure that you guys it's called matting. You're going to mat your spine first and then do your pages.
it's all right.
So, but I don't mind it. I actually like this look. So, I'm just going to keep on going. No, I'm not reading the comments. Paula was supposed to be helping me. I didn't know she left.
I had to take care of the boy.
I know. Tell us all the secrets. Something good happening on Monday? What happens on Monday? Oh, yes. Or muslin. That's what the other stuff called. I don't have any. Or cheesecloth. You could use cheesecloth too. I'm going to show you how to use Tyvek, which is the envelopes that you get from the post office. It's like a like terrible, like piece of fabric pretty much, but they make envelopes out of it. So I'm going to show you how to do that on the cardboard one when I make it. But it is, like, it's awesome. It reinforces it so you can open and close it and you don't have to worry about, like, whether it's going to rip or anything. Sorry, I need a break. Okay, what do you guys want to see next? You guys want pockets? You guys want belly bands? You guys want to see me make some homemade tags? What do you guys want to see? Hi, Cole Outdoors. Oh, that one's upside down. That's fun. See? That's what I mean. You guys got to watch how you put your stuff in there.
You just turn the book around.
But this is the right side. This is the way it goes.
It doesn't really matter.
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Okay, let's do. Oh, there's both.
You could just glue
Something on top of it.
Yeah.
Let's do some pockets. Oh, I love this. Okay. Oh. So I got this. Let's make a tag for this. I'm actually gonna make it out of tea-dyed book pages because this isn't very heavy and this won't hold like a cardstock thing.
Zia wants to know, did you say belly button?
I said belly band.
You might want to explain what it is. Belly buttons.
A belly band is pretty much like a belt for your page. So you can either have it vertical or you can have it horizontal, and it's like a tuck spot. You can put stuff in there and stuff. But that was a good one. A belly button. I'm gonna have to come up with something. So I'm gonna make a tag out of this. I'm gonna glue it together.
Derek hit 1,500.
Yay, Derek!
What's he doing? He just.
So let's glue this together. And then we're just gonna cut that off. And then I'm gonna cut a little bit of this off over here because I don't want all that blank space. I'm gonna cut that off. And then we're going to cut a little triangle off of here. And then to make sure that you mirror it, you're going to take your little cutoff piece, take it to the other side, and then you're just going to hold it on there while you cut it, and then you have a perfect one that mirrors it. Ta-da! Oh, sorry. And then if you wanted to get real fancy,
Ashley's phone just died.
oh no! So
Somebody peed on me.
then, so now we have a tag for our little tuck spot. Then let's make a belly band or a belly button if you're talking to Tiffany.
Ashley says she's back.
Let's see. Let's do it on this graph paper next to this beautiful envelope. I love that envelope. Let's see what I got. Let's see what we got to play with. Oh, perfect.
Tiffany says, and maybe go ahead and throw a belly button in the middle of it just for fun.
I'll get me out a button and I'll put a belly button on
Ashley
it.
says, put some string through the hole.
I don't have any like right now. Oh, hold on. Let's do it this way. So I'm just taking my leftover 4 strands and then we'll cut it because it's not very thick, so I'm just making it thicker. And then I think that's good. So I cut it and doubled it, so now I've got 8 strands. Where are you, little Tag? I don't even know where it's at. Apparently I was lucky to find it the first time. Okay. So all you're going to do is bend it in half. You're going to put it through the hole with your loop. I put my fingers in there. I'm going to grab the other side and just pull it through the loop. And then it's going to make it onto the top. Don't pull it too hard because you don't want it to break the thing. And then just trim off your excess. And here we go.
Tell everybody hit the thumbs up button.
Oh, Paula says everybody hit the thumbs up button, please. Then, okay, let's make a belly band now. We'll do it on this. Which we use. I don't think any of those are big enough. Oh. So, I got some, this is more paper that I actually printed off out of one of my digital kits that I bought. So, we're going to use this. So, my rule on this is, hold on, let me find my, there it is. I'm going to use my ruler. I'm going to measure my page size. Because remember, all these pages are going to be different sizes because they're, you know, junk. So my page actually measures 5 1/4. Like exactly. So I'm going to go 5 1/8 because I don't want it to be right on the center part. Otherwise your book's not going to fold right. So we're going to do 5 1/8. Now, when I do it, I make 1/2 inch folds. So when I go to put it on here, there's going to be a little bit of room so you can actually put stuff in there instead of just gluing it straight down to the page. Which I'll show you what I mean. But a 1/2 inch on each side, so we're going to add 1 inch. So my piece of paper that I'm going to need is going to be 6 1/8. And then it doesn't matter what side, like how wide you want it. It's kind of up to personal preference. I think I'm going to do 3 lines. So that's going to be, holy cow. Shoot, guys, I might still be tired. It's 7/8, it looks like. So we're going to do 3. And then I'm going to put that over there. And then I said I need it to be 6 1/2. My little ruler like pops out of the side, so. But it only goes up to 8 1/2 by 11. It doesn't actually go up to 12. So I need 6 1/8. All right. Then what I take, which you don't have to use a scoreboard. You guys can actually just do it on a table with like a back of a butter knife. You don't want to use the serrated, obviously. But if you do it that way, all you're going to do is measure in a 1/2 inch. Let me make sure I did do this right. Okay. So you're going to measure in a 1/2 inch on both sides. edge. And then over here, 1/2 inch. And then you're going to make a line, a light line. And then you're going to use the back of your butter knife. You're going to use your bone folder. If you have a stylus or like one of those dotting tools that they use for nails, those are awesome. You're just going to take it and you're going to push on it, and it's going to eventually make it an indent. So mine has the pencil line, and I apparently did it right on the pencil line, but it makes it easier to bend, and it's going to be a straight line. So do the same thing on the other side. And then what I do is I take off just a little sliver so that when I fold this and put it on the paper, you can't really see it sticking out. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to do it to one side, but not the other, so you can see what the difference is. And I'm literally just taking off a little sliver. So that right there is my sliver. Then I'm going to fold them. Stop, baby. So this is what the back looks like. So this is the one that's even. This is the one that's not. So when you go to glue this down and you look at it from the top, you can't really see this, and it almost looks like it's kind of floating there. That's the only difference. I just like the way it looks myself. If you do not care, it's kind of up to you. Thank you, Spader. I'll see you later too. Ooh. Now you can use whatever you want to glue this down. Wet glue, dry glue. Since I haven't used my double-sided adhesive, I'm going to use that. But this is double-sided adhesive from Joann's from the Miss Sparkle collection. It's like $1.99, and this is actually the roll size that you get. I think it's like 27 yards or something like that. And I usually stock up when they have their 50% off, which isn't very often, but when they do, I take, I don't know, probably 10 of these, and they have like 1/2 inch. So I get both of them, as many as I can find. Because you cannot find double-sided adhesive for $1. Okay. Then peel off our tape. And then all you do is figure out where you want to put this on the page. And then we're just going to stick it down. So I always start on the side that's on the edge of the book. And then now I also don't push this like completely flat. Just because you want a little bit of give in there. So then I'm going to erase my pencil marks and call it good. So now you can stick something in there. But what I do is on the bottom of the page, I'll take like a scrap piece of paper and let's see. Let's cut a hole out of it. How do I want this? think I might need a bigger piece of paper. So I'm going to take a half a circle and then I'm going to glue it down at the bottom. I'm going to bend up the edge a little bit so it's not really all that much, but I'm going to glue it down at the bottom and then it's going to cause it'll be like a stopper. So when you put something in there, it's not going to fall off of your whole page. Too much glue. So, there you go. And then, so for corner pockets, let's use this. So I have something off of one of the kits that I did or printed off. I'm going to fold this in half and then we're going to make mirroring pockets. So we'll have pockets on like on a full page. So there will be a pocket over here and a pocket over here. So you're going to decide how big you want your how tall you want your pocket. I'm going to say we're going to go up to about here. And then I want this side to be about up to here. So all you're going to do is draw your mark. Then draw your mark down here. Take a ruler, connect your lines. And then cut it out. Then you're going to open it, and then you're going to cut it down the middle. And then, if you want to do the same thing that I did with the belly bands, which is what I usually do, all you have to do is bend in a certain amount. Do the same thing on the bottom and on the side. Emmy! Then you're gonna kind of go around and pre-fold it. Stop it! So now when you fold this, these down here are going to overlap. So we're going to get rid of that. So what you're going to do is, right here's one fold line, here's another. Where they intersect, you are going to cut it at a diagonal to where they meet on one side. And then you're going to cut it at a diagonal where they meet on the other. And then you got this. So when you fold this up, there's only a little bit of crossover and it doesn't add a whole ton of bulk. Same thing with up here at the top. We're going to do our little corner trick so that when we fold it back, you won't even be able to see it. And then when I cut that, I got the 2 pockets that I just cut out. Well, I actually got 2 additional pockets because it was a square. Thanks, Ashley. I'm like running out of ideas. I don't know what else to do. In the video? Are you over it now?
No, just make like all different kinds of things that you can, and then that's it. You don't have to keep going.
Oh, I mean, there's a.
You gotta decorate your cover though.
Okay, guys. So then we're just going to add glue and attach them to our pages. Hey! Now get out!
Tiffany says you're doing a great job, no pressure.
Ugh. I'm just trying to think of stuff to put in there. Oh, see, that's what I mean when you get air behind it. Look how much glue just came out. Shoot. And then we have 2 buckets. Okay, now Paula says that we need to decorate the cover. So, this is my cover. We're only going to decorate probably the white stuff, like the white part, because I really like the yellow. It's like a happy yellow. And since I really like old lady floral, so you guys can do this one of 2 ways. We can cut it exactly to the size of the front cover, which is probably what I'll do because I already have, like, it's already covered on the edges. But when you do it this way, we'll take an actual piece of paper and we'll actually fold it in and stuff. So that I will try to do sometime next week for you, Tiffany. So we're going to cut this to exactly the same size, and then we're just going to glue it on there, and I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. So this is going to be 4 1/4
Penelope's here.
by 8 1/2. Hi, P. 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Let me get out the big one. So, also, this is going to be directional. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be, but if you have words and stuff on it, you're going to want to make sure that you double check before you start cutting on how you cut it, because you don't want your words to be like this and then you end up cutting it and you're going to have to put it like this and then your words are wrong. So if it's directional, just make sure you double check it before you start cutting. Oh, you got attitude today too? So then I'm going to take my Distress ink, and I'm actually just going to put it on there with this thing. Because then it like smears on my edges, and I really like that. I'm going to cut the same paper for the back cover because I forgot to do that. So it's going to be 8 1/2. Now this is also the part where you need to decide what kind of closure you want, if you want any type of closure. So if you want a magnetic one, you need to put your magnets down before you lay down your final paper. So for this, we'll go ahead and do a magnet closure just so you guys can see. I buy my magnets off of Amazon. I get 100 or 150 for like $8, and they are super thin. These are, I wanted to say 1 millimeter in thickness, and it's like 8 millimeters wide. So these are super thin. You almost can't even tell that they're there. So the back cover, front cover. So the back cover, we're going to have to pick something out that we want to use for like our piece of paper that will go from the back to the front so that it does the magnet closure. Let's go with some words. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to cut, let's see, we'll do another 7/8, the same thickness that we did for our belly band. So I'm going to get a 7/8 thick piece. And then we'll have to figure out how wide we want it. So what I'm going to do is, because mine has words, so I'm going to see which one I want on the top, which I think I'm just going to go with how it is right here. And then I'm going to fold this. I'm just going to fold it in half. Then I'm going to take the end that I have folded, so like the fold end, and I'm going to glue probably an inch with glue, and I'm going to glue this to the back side of the cover. So you can decide whether you want it in the middle, in the top. It's really up to you. I'm going to eyeball it and say that it's going to be in the middle, but I mean, let's be real. Then I'm going to open it up and I'm going to glue this whole strip together so that it's one strip. So right now this is what I got. And then this is glued together so it's one, like, you know, thick strip. And this is printed on that 65-pound paper. So it's actually pretty thick. Then you're going to kind of coerce it so that it starts to bend. Now, you know how thick you like your journals. You know how much you put in there, whether you just write in it or you add pictures and tip-ins and all sorts of stuff. So, you will have to decide once you start to fold this on how much room you're going to need. So you want to make sure that you allow yourself to have enough room to either grow or, you know, how you like it. It's a personal preference. So that looks actually pretty good for me. Now, this is right here. This is good for me. Like, I like how far that it sticks onto the journal because you want to make sure that you've got at least an inch, maybe an inch and a half worth of surface to, you know, stick to your journal. So this actually looks good to me. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to round my corners with a corner rounder, which I got this at, I don't know, Hobby Lobby, I think, for like $2 or $3. So now I have rounded corners. You can always do it with a pair of scissors. And all you have to do is draw them on there. And then just cut them out. And then I'm going to take my pink and just kind of hit the edges a little bit. Oh, you know what I forgot? Open that back up. Don't glue that yet. Forgot my magnet. So you got to put your magnet in there before you glue it together. So. Okay, so that's on there. Now, when you're at home, make sure you let this dry just a little bit more than I'm going to. But you're going to take your other magnet and you're going to put it on the other side with nothing on there, because you want to make sure that where this lines up and where we stick it onto here is going to be the same. So I put it on there so that I know that, you know, positive and negative are, you know, together or whatever they're supposed to be. Then I put down a piece of double-sided sticky tape on top of the magnet. Then I peel off. That might be a little too big. Stick it on there and then peel off the tape. So now I got my double-sided on there. And then all you're going to do is make sure that it's rounded like you like. And then you're going to push it down on top of your book. Then, when you go to peel it off, it's going to be in the right spot. And another thing with the inch and a half, you want to make sure that it's not too close to the outside because you need to glue that paper down. So you want to make sure that you have enough room to get a nice seal on the outside. Then all you're going to do is you're going to take your paper that you just cut down, you're going to put some glue all over it. And you want to make sure that you try to get pretty close to the edge because you really want a good seal on this because this is going to be your cover. It looks like I'm putting a lot of glue, but I'm not. I'm doing circles because it helps smear it around. And then just butt it up where you need it. And then push it down. And make sure you run your finger along the edge just to make sure that you got any of that seepage that comes out. A bit of bacon. I'm making a junk journal. Okay. So then this is what the front looks like. And if I hold it to the side, like I said, the magnets are really thin. You can't even tell where it's at. It's actually right here. So, and then it just, and then stays. So then we'll do the same thing to the back. I got my matching piece, and then I'm going to put the pink on it just so that it's matchy-matchy. And if nobody knew, pink is my favorite color, pink and gold, so. And then we're going to do the same thing. So I should have measured the back because it is not the same. The measurements aren't the same, but it still looks pretty good. Just remember, if you make a mistake and it's not measured right, just try to center it and say that's what it was meant to do. So, what I mean is I should have measured the back. So this is probably like 4 1/2 or 4 5/8 instead of the 4 1/4 that the front was. So now I just have like this little spot right there and then another little spot right over here, like on the edge. So I tried to center it and then it makes it look like it was supposed to be like that. And then that's it. And then you can put, all sorts of stuff on there. I have I have these little flower, these are actually metal things that I could put on there. I'm not going to put anything on there. I'm actually going to get ready to wrap it up, but I might jazz up the other one because then I'll have time to like do it by myself. But I got metal embellishments. You could put flowers on there. You can do whatever you want. Trim. Anything you guys can think of. So, thank you guys for coming along with me tonight. Do you guys have any questions before I get ready to wrap this up? While I start putting my glue and stuff away, I'll wait around and see if you guys have any questions. But that's the gist of a junk journal. You literally use whatever you have around the house. I just happen to be a crafter, so I have more than most people have around the house. Oh, there's one of the tags. Belly button. We'll call it a belly button. But all you're going to do is, let's see, where's my... I'll be right back. Let me get some buttons. Oh. So, here's a pack of buttons I got. We'll call it a belly button. And then I got them at Tuesday morning. They were $1.99 for the whole pack. If you guys never been to Tuesday morning, I suggest that you guys go. Because it is like amazing. And then I got this. It's got this thing on the back, so I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to try to break it off. Ta-da! So I just broke that thing off so that it would be flat. And then I'm going to file it down a little bit, just with a regular nail file. Because I have nail stuff too, because I do nails too, guys. I'm not certified, but I do my own. You guys remember one of the first videos Paula put out where she was like, what is all this stuff? Yeah, that drawer she showed you, that's all my gel polish. So, I just filed it down. Now it's completely flat. And then I actually think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up a little bit more because now it's off. Like just a little bit because I had to put that magnet in there. So I'm going to take my ink. I'm going to open this up and then I'm going to ink it up. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the inside so it doesn't look like it wasn't meant to be like that.
Disney's saying you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to glue it right on the top. Oh, to Goodwill?
Yeah.
It'll all depend on what I'm sleeping like.
Melody says you have nice hands.
Thank you. See, I'm having some issue with this glue. Oh, man, I haven't been there in like a long time. Okay. So there's your belly button, Tiffany. Right there. This one just looks like a flower. So that's all I got. I will jazz it up a little bit more maybe and maybe do a video. But actually what I had planned was Tiffany, can you email me your address? I want to send this to you.
Cool.
So I don't use these personally. I usually just give them away and sell them. But since you were the most excited about it, I'm gonna give this one to you. So if you could just email Paula, um, Paula's justlivingtyson@gmail.com and give me your address. I will mail this out sometime this coming week for you. And then I might put a couple of extra stuff in here, but
She's still in the room. She's not typing.
she was Tiffany.
There she is.
Oh, I was like, Tiffany, are you out there? Man, I don't know how she does these live streams for this long because I feel like I might die. Excuse me. So, Paula, can you put your email address down there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. And then I will do a video on how to alter the cardboard chipboard boxes. And maybe I'll go into a little bit more detail. I also had an idea of doing one, like doing a junk journal-y traveler's notebook kind of thing. If you guys don't know what a traveler's notebook is, they are literally, it's like this, only they have elastic bands and you make inserts for them. So it's essentially a signature, but they're removable. So you keep the same outside cover and you just keep swapping out like inserts. And most people have like a journal insert, and then like a shopping insert. You know, you can have as many inserts as you want, but I thought that would be kind of cool. So if you guys like that idea and you guys want to know more about it, comment below and let me know.
They can use like fabric.
Yes. For like 3 minutes once. So, if you guys are, yeah, you guys can also use fabric. This does not have to be just paper. I had planned on like a whole bunch of stuff, but I ended up waking up late. And, like, you guys can do like tabs out of fabric, and do like dangly charms, and you should see some of these things that these people come up with. If you look at I'm a Cool Mom, she is a YouTuber and she does junk journals. She sells her junk journals for like $130 to $150 a piece. And hers are way more fancier than mine and they're much bigger. But she is someone to check out if you guys are really interested in it. Another one is Nick the Booksmith, Nik. She is awesome. She actually has, she does teachables and stuff like that. She actually has classes. They're like $130 a class, which is, I haven't taken one. But her stuff is amazing. And her stuff is themed. It's unreal. Like, I can't believe how she does it, like, at home. But, any questions? Before I go, and then Paula can get her channel back. I don't think she likes having takeovers. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment. And if you're not subscribed and you guys like this stuff, leave a comment, subscribe, and let Paula know that you guys like it when I take over her channel. She might not like it, but we do. Hey, just living. I have to go, sadly, already. So, I guess that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for coming along with me on this. And Tiffany, this week, after I get it out, I will email you back and let you know that I've sent it out. Other than that, that's all I got, guys. So have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And be kind and love each other. Thank you.